Boop, boop, boop. Powering up like a Super Saiyan. Right. Let's over it. Oh. Let's turn this audio down a little. Do that. Bam. What was that? All right, that's good. Hello. Welcome to some Star Citizen-y, boys. I'm BoredGamer, and we're doing some live streaming. if you've got any questions you'd like to ask during the live stream about Star Citizen, about 3.17.2, 3.18, the road to 4.0, about YouTube, about me, whatever, feel free to ask it in the chat. Put question in brackets, and then I'll try and come to those questions at some point during the live stream. If I don't answer it immediately, it's because I don't answer questions immediately. I sort of come to them whenever I come to them. It could be 10 or 15 minutes later. How am I today? I'm okay, a bit tired. Sort of looking forward to Drake Defense Con tomorrow. Fleet Week's been reasonably fun and good. However, as me and Zim were discussing in a podcast that will go live a little bit later today, it's reasonably samey from last year. The sort of expo hall is obviously very similar. It is in a new location, but it is basically a carbon copy, or at least a very, very, very similar copy of the Tobin Convention Centre on Microtech. It's not necessarily a huge criticism, it's just, it is what it is. But there's obviously been loads of other stuff that's coming in this 3.17.2 patch after Fleet Week as well, which we'll talk about. Oh man, I was in Star Citizen, I think yesterday or the day before, and one of the people in chat was just like, "Oh, fake." When I said something, I was like, "Oh, okay, they're gonna say I'm not me." It's irrelevant because I'm just asking a question. Like, is the expo hall working? Because I went for a few servers and it wasn't working. The lifts in the expo hall hadn't updated to allow you to go to the Crusader and Misk expo hall. And I was just asking, and then there was debate whether it was me or not. And I was like, all I want to know is get this question answered. I'm not using it. I'm not using my clout. I'm not going, I am BoredGamer. Send me money. I'm not saying that. I mean, I do at the end of my videos, obviously. Yeah. Oh, well. I've always found it weird. People don't pretend to be me, do they? I mean, I've got no experience of people pretending to be me while I'm around, which would be fantastic if they did. Hope you're well, Bored. I was in Manchester last week wandering around. I happened to come across the new Clan Imperium building. It was a pretty cool pilgrimage moment. So, yeah, their new studio that's being built out at the moment is in Manchester is amazing. Like, it's an amazing building. When it's finished, it looks like it's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. How's your mental health journey been going? Balance is offering a free year at the moment if you're curious about the meditation apps. I'm a mixture of things to varying levels. Basically, I suffer very badly from anxiety and a bit of paranoia, and I'm bipolar, so it's sort of a mix of that mentality. Meditation doesn't work for me very well, but talking and focusing and doing things helps a lot. That's why I quite like working a lot. That's quite like why I quite like streaming and chatting on stream. But I will attempt some meditation again in the future. When I go to sleep, I listen to white noise. White noise chills me out, but I wouldn't refer to that as meditation because I don't want to actively do it. I get bored very easily. But I appreciate the comments, the suggestion. I'll try it. Whatever. You're not saying you're Batman, but I've never seen you in the same room together. I mean, that's true of Hitler as well, to be honest. Come on. I'm not that either. Yes, if you'd like to ask any questions, put a question in brackets, and that will allow me to dig it out, as it were. I'm not going to be streaming Elden Ring. Although, said, now that it's got it's got the full co-op support now, isn't it? That makes me more likely to play it. Polaris when? So, is the current info we have on the Polaris? Let's have a look on the progress tracker. Because we know that Polaris is a ship that they are working on. Oh, it's not in the... There's no new information on the Polaris at the moment, deliverable-wise. Hopefully we'll get some info on it towards the end of the year. As far as I was aware, Cloud Imperium were working on it now, but I'm not sure to what extent and what teams, and that might have been paused or changed. But I'll find out. It's not on the roadmap at the moment. So typically that means they're not working on it, but I was sure they were. It's in my notes that they are, so... My beard is looking resplendent. I haven't actually bristle brushed my beard. I can't find my bristle brush at the moment. It's sort of gone a bit mental. Music a little bit up. There we go. Oh, thank you very much for all the kind words. It is very much appreciated. Are you going to buy 10 mules so you can have a pack of mules? I will be buying lots of mules so I can have lifetime insurance tokens, probably upgrade them to different ships and then give them for giveaways. Zin really likes the mule. She says it's super cute. Oh, Robert Johnston, thank you so much for 48 months. You've been, oh my god, it's like 4 years. And you've been a member. I saw someone pretending to be you recently. They posted a previously streamed MA without being hassled. So no, it wasn't you. Thanks. Was someone actually pretending to be me? Was that actually a thing? Classic. I hope they were. I hope they got a lot of respect, like they deserved. Hello. You're all good. Hope you're doing well, Robert Johnston, mate. Hope you're doing well. Any new info on the Kraken? I hear it's got bigger and it's being quietly built. So there's a bit of work going on the Kraken. So I think that Clan Imperium want to use it as a base for pirates in Pyro, that sort of stuff. So I'm expecting it to come out a little bit after Pyro does, pretty soon after. Is my expectation, but certainly not a confirmation. To the changing of metrics and everything, ships like that typically get a bit bigger, but we don't know for sure. We might hear a little bit more about it tomorrow at Drake Defense Con, because it goes on sale in 3 waves tomorrow, the Drake, Kraken and Privateer. So you've got it going on sale at 4 PM UTC, then midnight, and then 8 AM. So if you're trying to pick up either of those ships, you can grab them tomorrow. You'll eventually be able to get them in game though, so sort of bear that in mind. Really looking forward to Drake Defense Con tomorrow and the release of that mule. Got any holidays planned? I'm going to go, not really holidays. I'm going to go see Ramstein in a few weeks. What else? Probably going to go to I-69, I-Series, nice, with Zin and her partner. We like to do regular Airbnbs, which is typically quite fun. Will the mule be lifetime insurance? The Warbond version should be, yes, as far as I'm aware. How long will it take for them to add other solar systems to warp through wormholes? We're expecting Pyro, potentially a early build of Pyro at the end of the year, the server meshing. That's what sort of Clan Imperium have implied by saying that. That's their sort of goal, if they can. I'm expecting to see probably the Nyx system next year as well. So, and then I suspect we'll see potentially a system or 2 each year. That's my hope. It's not going to be hard science. They'll do it as and when they want to, and sometimes you might get 4 systems a year, and other times you might get 1. What's your favourite ship and why? Mercury Starrunner, by far. I love it for its multi-role, multi-crewness, so it can do a bit of everything in the game pretty much. It can even have a vehicle on board. It's got the future, in the future it's going to be able to do some data running and sort of hacking type gameplay, and that smuggling gameplay, but I just love it for the way it looks. I think it looks fantastic. Super great looking asymmetrical ship. It's got this sort of vents that you can crawl around in. It's got lots of little secret hidey holes. It's got cool buttons. I just love it. Do you think we'll be able to join the Navy? So obviously Squadron 42, you'll be in the Navy, but then I think you leave the Navy, obviously, when you come into the Persistent Universe. I do think you'll be able to join... I think you'll be able to support the Navy faction, and you'll be able to do work and jobs for the Navy sort of like the civilian branch of the Navy, or sort of like volunteer branch of the Navy, that sort of stuff, yeah? Rather than actually being part of the Navy. Robert Johnston! No, it was you! I was just giving you shit about posting a few of these. I see. So I was pretending to be myself, Robert Johnston. Thank you so much for that huge donation. Oh, you star. Thank you. Thank you. If you get paranoid, just keep listening to I Don't Care Anymore by Phil Collins. I found that helped, or Rockwell's, who's watching me. So, you know, you're not the only one. So, so one of the joys I have of any form of depression or anxiety or whatever is that I know that I'll feel better eventually. And I know logically that it is just paranoia or worry or me being silly. I'm going to start to... I've largely got over my travel anxiety now, at least for mid-distance travel. So I can sort of travel now 4 or 5 hours on a train without worrying for like a week before and dreading it. I had I went up to an Airbnb recently with my mates like a week or so ago, and we had a midweek, half-week holiday, which was really cool. And it was Zin's partner, a load of my other mates. We went up there and basically had a little mini LAN and played a little board games and ate a little nice food. It was pretty cool. But there was a 4.5 hour, 5 hour journey for me up and down. That was actually quite a fun journey. Went through London. I watched Invincible and the animation, and then I played a load of Wingspan when I was going up and down, and I quite enjoyed my journey up and down there and chilled out. So, the travel anxiety was pretty bad for me. I worry about health, and then I worry about sort of etiquette or people out to get me briefly, and then go, they are. A nice sort of wave. Do you think we'll see the RSI Apollo by the end of the year? No. I do think we'll sort of see it next year. I think they'll sort of flesh out the medical mechanics more next year, but I don't think we'll see the Apollo by the end of this year. I think there's too many other things that are going on. What's your thoughts on the 600i rework? Yeah, as they bring it up to sort of gold standard, I'm looking forward to all the tweaks and that on it. Beyond that, I want to wait for them to say, look, this is as finished as it's going to be for now. Do you know how much horsepower the Mule will have? No, we don't know its speed or anything yet. Obviously, we've tested it a bit out in the PTU, but I do think there's going to be some tweaks and stuff for it. It's pretty nippy, and it can spin on a dime. I think it's actually going to be pretty useful even when they first implement it in the game, just for moving cargo crates out of bunkers and some like delivery missions and things. I mean, it's going to be a lot more useful in the future when we have the cargo refactor and stuff, though. Can you CCU to any ship available to buy, or are some upgrades not available? So you can tip it's most ships to buy, limited ships that are limited by hull amount. So the Kraken or the Privateer typically can't be CCU'd to. Did they patch making large SCU boxes? Ah, so you're talking about like blowing up your ship, get an SCU box to appear, and then moving it into another ship and stuff. I have not tried that in the latest 3.17.1 patch. I don't know if it's been patched out or not. It wasn't an intended feature. Obviously, people were using it quite a bit. Has there been anything said about the 600i gold standard? I'm expecting it in 3.18, but there's nothing that's really been talked about it recently. Well, very recently. Bought a Legionnaire last night. I'm really thinking about the Origin ground vehicle. Okay, what the G-Series Rover? G12s? Maybe, lol, do you think they will ever have beds in ground vehicles? I think some ground vehicles will have beds in, yes, but not the G-Series. Oh, whenever I put an item in my inventory, the capacity updates correctly, but once I close it and reopen it, my inventory is maxed out. Oh, please help. Just a single water bottle. It's a bug. It's annoying. J Rebirth, you can always watch me later. You can just rewatch the stream if you wish. I'll make sure they go up at some point in the next like 24 hours after. Will they wipe the servers for 3.18? I think it is likely. So I think a server, a persistence wipe, a reset of your ships and funds you haven't bought on your account. I think that is likely for 3.18 just because of the nature of that update with full persistence and some big milestone sort of tech there. That's not a confirmation, but it's very likely. They might be able to save some stuff and move it across as well, though. So I love medical gameplay. Haven't been able to do too much of it in the most recent Star Citizen patches. Like, I want to do medical rescue gameplay. I want to respond to people's service beacons and go rescue them. But a lot of people, they just respawn. So, yeah, the Kraken being like $1,400 or so, and the Privateer $1,700 is so expensive, eh? Sort of get it in game or get it with an org. What do you think of the Ares Ion state right now? Okay, so I'm not a massive fan of the Ares Ion right now. It was one of my favourite ships on paper. I own one. I'm hoping that a little bit later on they'll update and tweak it. You can't have something dominating the meta so much that it just makes the game unfun for everyone. And having that ship in as a very powerful sniper ship that can just snip someone very easily and just insta-kill them is not great for testing Star Citizen at the moment. So I'm fine for them balancing it down currently. I hope that it gets more appropriately balanced in the future. And I would expect it to. Why can't I find bunker eviction missions anymore? I was seeing the bunker assault and defense missions loads. It could be possibly that your rank isn't high enough to see some of the missions. I think they still exist fully. I haven't seen or heard any updates on the Crucible. So this is the Anvil repair ship that sort of makes a lattice and has a little hangar and bay that can also repair ships. So you can repair big ships and small ships. I haven't heard any updates on it either. So expect them to go through salvage and then some levels of repair and then move on to the Crucible. But I would expect to see drone repair from like the Vulcan before the Crucible, personally. When do you think they will start talking about it again? Do you think that it will fit a Vulture? Oh, I don't know. They may have changed the internal size. So I don't think it would have fitted a Vulture originally. Sort of like a medium fighter size it could typically take. And I think the Vulture's probably too big. But that might have changed. Have Micro Star Runner only problem makes having smaller dedicated ships pointless. I've got LA and I love it, but the Mercury Star Runner carries more, so kind of silly. Yeah, so the smaller ships are important for certain reasons, but obviously once you've upgraded beyond them, you might not need them as much, the older ones. Robert Johnston, thank you very much for more donation. Very much appreciated. And the Explorer with beds and loo based on Spartan would be cool. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Keep the noise down. Good night. Yeah, so it'd be nice to see some ground vehicles be able to be homes for players, be able to sleep there, have medical facilities, beds and toilets. Yeah. Thank you so much, Robert Johnston. You are a legend amongst my viewers. Very much appreciated. And thank you so much for the support. It genuinely means a lot. Like, thanks. I appreciate everyone that just watches and likes and subscribes and gives me comments, because that allows me to make these streams. Just talking is fantastic. But when people go the extra mile to become a channel member or Patreon or donate a load of money, or even tiny amount of money, it's still a lot to me. It's super appreciated. Thank you genuinely so much. I was able to have a massive takeaway the other night. Because I was like, oh, the donations are going to takeaway, and then I got like 80 quid's worth of donations. I was like, well, this is a big meal. Sent some of it to Zin, or will be sending it to Zin. Zin's got a little BoredGamer little bank account with a little bit of money in from donations and stuff that she has yet to draw on. Jen Desperado, thank you so much for the raid. That is very appreciated. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you're doing well. How are you doing, Jen? Thank you. Raid, indeed. Oh, you star. Happy Boynton. I hope you're doing well as well. I used to see all your questions when Batgirl used to ask questions regularly. I hope that girl's doing all right, actually. I have not checked in with them for a while. I used to have such a sort of pulse on the finger on the pulse with so many the other content creators, and I watch all their videos and stuff. But I used to be sort of like much more touch base and chat with them. I do that occasionally with like very rarely, but occasionally still with like Nubify and stuff, and the artist previously known as Twerk. But yeah, I need to get more involved and chat to people more regularly again. I've been talking to sort of like Level Cap and people like that a lot more than I have my original sort of Star Citizen colleagues. I need to get more involved with them, play some more games with them, get on some podcasts again, get that stuff sorted. Let's do it. Hashtag let's do it. A load of in-jokes went through my head. That's the Ares arm. We talked about that. Talked about the Vulture. What else we got here? How much does the Kraken cost? I think it was like it's $1,200 to $1,500 to $1,200 to $1,500. It's likely price when it goes on sale. I love you, Summer Yeti. You are a legend. Thanks so much to all my mods as well. It's very much appreciated. You turn up. I don't even tell you when I'm streaming. I just sort of do it. Just click on some buttons. You turn up. It's appreciated. What are your expectations for the initial launch of the cargo refactor? So I'm expecting more cargo to be able to be moved. So more types of cargo container. A physicalization of some cargo or most cargo in your cargo bay that can then be moved out. And picked up, so you'll be able to have missions where you're picking up cargo, you'll be able to move out some cargo. There'll be, as I said, more types of cargo and more missions to support that, and the inventory system should probably support that more readily. And I suspect it will track cargo and cargo types a lot more readily as well. Yeah, generally more items and that sort of stuff. A lot of back-end stuff supporting cargo being moved between ship grids, and a separation of exactly what it means to be in a area or a ship, and moving items between all of that. It's super important tech. It allows for a load more missions, it allows for looting, it allows for piracy, it allows for lots of reasons, a lot more different types of mission. But I'm not expecting it to cover everything in its first sort of overhaul. I expect there's lots of other bits they need to add upon that. Because eventually it leads to having... Because you're going to have obviously this crossed in with full persistence, which makes it very interesting. But I would expect soon after 3.18 us to be able to have persistent hangars. So you be able to store cargo and ships and everything in a more private version of a hangar. So prospector mine is not pointless. Still fun. Still, you mean it's good for testing. It depends on why you play Star Citizen, doesn't it? Just because it's not necessarily the most meta of things, and sometimes bits break, doesn't mean they're not still fun. Do you think 2022 will be bigger with bug fixing? So 3.17.2 should be a heavily refined patch because it's in the 3.17 branch, and they're giving it basically an extra 3 months of love. So that should be a pretty good bug fixed, refined patch. You have your own wild ideas of gameplay feature for improving Star Citizen. So really what I want is obviously things to come together in the dynamic universe, sim and loads of stuff like that. But in the short term, I would love to see missions where I can defend and hold, mostly PvE, structures and outposts, and waves of enemies come to attack it. So ships and enemies, so ground forces, and ships and vehicles will come to attack an outpost that I am defending with me and potentially with some other mates. And I would like that to last for several hours, if not a constant thing where they just keep on attacking, and the longer you hold it, the more payout you get, or whatever. That is the sort of stuff I would like to see around loads of outposts around the game, and I think it would be hugely good fun. Do you know if they're still planning on honouring the Legacy Kickstarter, the repair bot? I believe the little tiny repair bot is supposed to be a thing, and I think you'll see all of those items that they sort of had originally in Kickstarter and through the stretch goals appear in the game in some form, even if it's just a flair item. But it will probably be some items in game that you'll be able to use. I lost all my money while cargo hauling and my game crashed. So typically your ship will be reclaimable, and keep the cargo on it, or respawnable with the cargo on it, and a nearby space station, whatever. That's sort of, obviously, that's not always the case, and bugs still happen. It's not reclaimable, it's respawnable, which is a bit different. What else have we got? Okay, so blowing up your ship and getting the 1 SCU box still works. It has not been hotfixed out. Oh yeah, so did you crash out, or did you get 30k? That's a good point. That only works for 30ks, doesn't it? That said, you can sometimes, if you've crashed out, you can sometimes crash recovery back in. It's one of the things that the persistent streaming should fix, issues with that. Microwave awesome, micro awesome. I don't know why I said microwave. I check chats from various sources, so we read questions from various sources. I check all chats. Do you think the whole server United could take down a Bengal? Yes, very much so. I've seen single ships take down a Idris, so yeah, definitely. I mean, they're strong and powerful, and if they were actively trying to win with players in them, and potentially had fighter support, I think that a Bengal would probably win. But if it's players against a Bengal, I mean, they'll wreck it. Do you have any ideas what happened to the Retaliator Gold Pass? It looks like they had the rework of the ship done, but they just didn't push for it for some reason. The Retaliator Gold Pass has not been done. I can't remember. I can't recall it off my head. I do know they want to make the modularity of the Retaliator a thing in the not too distant future, so maybe they're just tweaking it for that. Hey Bored, good to see another QA from you. Love these, as it's a great way to get a solid view. No worries, feel free to ask any questions you want. When might we see a fix with the Argo mole? So, being able to access the turrets and panels properly, I would expect in 3.17.2. They sort of need to get it done. When do you think the Odyssey will be released? At the earliest end of 2023, and probably more of a 2024 ship, to be honest. It's a big one. You think the Orion will be an economy killer when it comes out? No, because I think it's going to have a load of inefficiency. It might be strip mining might be its own sort of beast when it comes to resources they sort of gather, and the refining processes necessary for that might be a bit different. So I do think that all the mining and refining ships will have their purpose. It won't be an economy killer anyway. They'll all balance out. And also, because you're strip mining, you might not be able to get into the centres of asteroid fields, which is where certain materials that small ships can get to, they might be more valuable because of that. So it should all balance itself out. What else have we got here? What part of Raftron do you want to be? The right arm? Or the butt? No, wait. With the recent focus on improvements to AI flight paths and traversal abilities, do you think we will soon see NPC-controlled transports between planets? So, yes, I do. Obviously, 3.17.2 is going to have some of the AI nav mesh for the new Reclaimer, Derelicts and Rex, and then they're going to be expanding it from there. So I think we are not too far away from having AI ships come in and move between planets and sort of be able to attack outposts and things, and for NPCs to actually land and run out of a ship. Is the persistent entity streaming going to be tested in 3.17.2 or 3.18? It's going to be tested in 3.18. The 3.17.2 does have some pretty big features. Siege of Horizon, which is that new dynamic event on the platforms of Horizon. Mostly FPS, but it's got some ship and sort of shuttle movement. You've got the new Reclaimers, you've got the planetary navigation mesh, got the Drake, not the Drake Mules coming out tomorrow. I've got the legal delivery missions and some expansion, some addition of new stations to fly out where we haven't got stations already. Why do you think CIG did not make the Mule a flatbed with a forklift? I don't know. I mean, I like the way it's got the 6 sort of cargo box racks there, and it's got a sort of rear sort of box holder, and it's got the forklift box holder. I mean, they wanted it stylized for being able to move crates and stuff around. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little vehicle. I think a lot of people are just going to use it for a lifetime insurance token, but are you excited about next year's roadmap? Has key tech coming in, but also concerned for the significant lack of gameplay coming in the next year. We don't know what's coming in the next year in form of gameplay. We just don't know. We don't know until they tell us more about next year's stuff. Obviously, the addition of server meshing and pyro, super important. That's the goal. That's the key. I do think we'll see a lot of gameplay and a lot of additions there. Is it concerning? I mean, only as concerning as I don't know what's happening next year until they start talking about it a bit more. I do think we'll see a lot of gameplay though still. Looking at the expected utility for the mole, what kind of rebalance do you expect to see done for the tractor tool, if any? Some updates. They're going to be obviously moving. Crates going to be able to be moved around a lot more and sensibly when you're talking about tractor beams. Do you ever see them adding a mech-style forklift for moving shipping containers around the merchantman? Imagine something like telekinetic mech from Just Cause 3. Maybe a power loader. I mean, basically, we're going to have little mules driving around probably, and we're going to have people with gravity tools and with the tractor beam tools. In the past demo, you mentioned you like card games. Have you played Inscription? Yes, fully completed Inscription, gone all the way through. I love it. Oh, I haven't played the expansion, the mod for it. Sort of became semi-official. Thank you very much, Archer, for becoming a Prime member. Very much appreciated. Have you noticed much in the way of accessibility being a thought in Star Citizen development? They've talked about various language support. They've talked about color blindness and partial blindness mods. That accessibility is very much a thing that they talk about, but it's likely that it will be later on in Star Citizen's development. They actually polish it out and put a lot more accessibility options in. Will there be any naughty 18 plus scenes in Squadron 42? No. I don't think there will be romance options. I do not think there will be special interest time. Silly G! Thank you very much. Appreciate the subby sub. Hey, bud. If that is indeed a sub. I don't know how this works. You okay? Yes, I'm good. Thank you very much. Any news on Theatres of War? No new news on Theatres of War. I know that Clan Imperium have been working on it with one of their teams. We have not heard anything new. Maybe they are waiting for the network updates and server meshing to bring out. That is the thing I would expect them to be waiting on. Hey, Bod, do you think there will be any, and that's what literally you just talked about, do you expect roads that you'll be able to traverse from one outpost to another, realistically? I mean, there's going to be there's going to be a physics rework as well for ground vehicles, which will help a lot with how you move around. Do you think that roads will connect various outposts and facilities and have a lot of uses? So, yeah. I don't think all outposts are going to be connected by roads. Do you worry about a content drought like there was between 2.6.3 and 3.0? No, I don't think we'll ever see a content drought like that again. Do I think there's going to be a content drought between 3.17.2 and 3.18? No, because basically 3.17.2 is just a 3.18 light patch, and 3.18 is 3.19. They still just rename stuff, right? Do I think there's a worry that I could want some more stuff that's going to be happening? Well, they're going to be testing 3.18 while I'm playing 3.17.2. So for me, there's not going to be much of a drought. Do you know what I mean? How do I purchase a Campbell class ship like the HSP when they're sold out for every sale? You better buy them in game eventually. You'll just have to get lucky with them when they're on sale. It leaked that you can romance Mark Hamill's character. I think that's probably incorrect. As far as I'm aware, they were not planning romance options. They were planning friendships and relationships with characters, but I don't think that's romanceable. I might be wrong. Do you worry about more toxicity when this game gets more mainstream? Seems to be on the cliff right now, like Raging Kids back on COD or something. Okay, so with any gaming community, as they get larger, you're more likely to have more extreme people at the ends of sort of the white knight and toxicity spectrums or whatever you want to call it. So both ends. As there gets more and more people, that just happens. You can police the communities by being reasonable, sort of calling out bad behavior when you see it, but allowing people to talk and show stupid behavior. So you don't like censor them, you don't delete it. Obviously, if it's vile, you can delete it or whatever, or block them or whatever. But just don't play with people that are raging kids or stupid. You don't like to play with. I think that largely Star Citizen is a older audience that's more mature, that wants to play games, that isn't sort of self-entitled. Well, entitlement's a weird thing. I could talk about this for ages, but I do think that it avoids the toxicity that you'd have in games like Dota 2 or Fortnite, whatever, because it's not a mega young audience that just feel that they're anonymous and can say whatever they want and don't know any better. The Star Citizen community mostly do know better, and are as I said, older and more mature, typically. But as I said, as gaming communities get larger, they get more polarized because more people get in. It's just something you need to sort of be aware of. I do think that we will get the Banner Merchantman by the end of the year. It's possible. I think we'll see it at CitizenCon. I do think it's a little bit further out, but they are working on it. Do you have any concerns about the number of ships that need a gold pass? Well, all of them will need a gold pass. Gold pass just says up to the current technology standards. So if they have all of the teams appropriate that could work on giving ships gold passes, a gold pass once they've got physicalized components in, well, that wouldn't actually take that long to do if they just focused on that for like 3 to 6 months. Could supercharge one of your sensors at the expense of another, and what would you boost and sacrifice? I mean, when you say sacrifice, you know what I mean? I lose it, because I don't want to lose anything. And sight is the most important of my sensors to me. Hearing's probably the least important of my sensors to me, but I would still want it. I heard that Squadron 42 might get a release date at CitizenCon this year. It's possible. I have not heard anything similar. I think it's likely that Clan Imperium will we don't have enough information on Squadron 42. And there are rumours about that sort of stuff, but they are just rumours at the moment. Silly G, you get a one-time highlight chat for members. Wasn't theatres basically ready in 2019? Ah, I see what you mean from previously. Thank you. So they could have released Theatres of War to the public in 2019 or early 2020, but it was network code and animation buggy as hell. They needed to work on netcode, which just wasn't done yet before they released it, in my opinion. And I believe that is what they are waiting for. Chris Bradford, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very much appreciated. Using the join button underneath my videos to become a member. And people clicking on the money buttons to give me money, because I like money. Who doesn't, eh? What else have we got here? Do you have a Discord community? Yes. BoredGamer UK? BoredGamer? You can find it. Go on my Discord. It's linked on my videos. I think. Yeah, there's egos in the Star Citizen community, of course. There's, again, any gaming community. You could argue that there's more egos in the Star Citizen community, but less toxicity, or whatever. I mean, again, it's a conversation you could have, and I don't think you should necessarily shy away from it, but it's sort of relevant for the most part. I think Star Citizen community is fantastic overall. It's my favorite gaming community I've ever been part of. And that's not just a direct group of just my friends. And I've had an amazing experience with people. I think they're very kind, very forgiving, and very welcoming. Are there any IDs in the Star Citizen community? Can you be more specific? IDs? And Mr. Bliskin? What else have we got here? Oh, the id. IDs. I see. We went into full personality. Where are we? Talked about as. Do you think CIG should have upper bodies potentially exposed with napples? Like in Rust or GTA or Conan or whatever. Nah. Yeah. I don't care. I don't need that to improve my experience. I'm fine just going around and going, I'm a space adventurer. Is there any way to get an F8 Lightning? So you'll be able to get access to them if you get to a certain stage in Squadron 42, complete Squadron 42 or whatever. You'll be able to get them in game. You'll be able to buy them off other players. You can get them if you are a high level of concierge, so spend a lot of money on the game. They give you one for free. They're not available to use in game yet properly. They haven't been given to players. You can sort of technically steal them if you're clever from NPCs, although they might have locked that out now. I've flown in one before. It obviously wasn't finished, but yeah, I had a great holiday. Thank you very much. I went. Pisces with bed clog out when. Does the Pisces have a bed? Doesn't have a bed, does it? What we got? How does lifetime insurance work? Do you think that Cloud Imperium will ever release an option to buy lifetime insurance and attach it to one of your ships? Probably not. But that's why people buy like things like, assumedly, the Mule, and then upgrade it to something later. We don't know 100% how lifetime insurance will work either. So we know a few things. It will follow the hull of the ship or vehicle even after you sell it. If you sold it to someone else in game, that they should have lifetime insurance on that hull. And it will probably just cover the default loadout of the ship. So if you make changes to the ship, put on better weapons and gear, it's not going to cover those. You have to buy insurance for that separately. Or upgrade the insurance. At what point do you think CIG will implement an attachable jetpack or in-atmosphere EVA to get higher to get to harder to reach places? I would like to see a little jump pack or grappling hooks or something. How do you stop people quantum jumping? So damage their ship enough, or bring a mantis. So at the moment, the sort of attrition, the damage to components doesn't really allow you to damage a ship, and the way that quantum works doesn't allow you to sort of like stop a ship from going into quantum if you haven't got a mantis or a similar interdiction device. Will the Pioneer be able to build a refinery station? We don't know to the full extent of what the Pioneer will be able to build factory / outpost wise, but I would expect it to be able to build things like refinery stations and mining stations, things to exploit resources and refine resources. Yes, that would be my expectation. You need a mule when you have a Titan suit. I'm so looking forward to the Titan suits. I love Titan suits. I just wish they were in game now. I wanted them for many years. We heard if ships like the Kraken and Microstar will get elevators to the exit added, since they take forever to exit. Some ships might get tweaked so they have elevators or emergency exits, like the Microstar, hopefully, for example. Adam Beer basically went, oh yeah, we realised that we do need an emergency exit or some way of exiting the ship more easily. Since we have a ATC keybind, do you think they'll give us a keybind to open and close your cargo doors when outside your ship? So that would be remoting from your like mobigus or whatever. Potentially. They've talked about it a few times. I don't think they've settled on the idea. Sketch Therapy, thank you so much for the love, and I appreciate your work as a mod. You are legendary. Do you think we will see a Prowler rework? Currently, it's in an overpriced ship. Yes, I'd agree. It's got alien tax on it, basically, because it's Tavaran. With next to no purpose. With a Legionnaire making its debut, it's hard to see what the Prowler has to offer. It's sort of supposed to be... yeah, actually, that's a good point. I think I prefer the smaller, cheaper Legionnaire. So I think it's like from $100. It's fantastic. Do you think we'll see a wipe or reset when persistent entity streaming comes in with 3.18? I think it's likely, or more likely than previous resets. So I think so. Do you think with terrain navigation, CIG will modify things around bunker and service like landing pads, structures, and other stuff, so it's not a total mess with this year? I think that's a strong possibility as well, yes. That makes sense as they sort of develop out these modular areas and landing zones and outposts and things, and the nav mesh where NPCs will be able to move around these facilities, actually track you, run after you, come back there, and they need to be able to assault them and be quite sensible at how they assault them, and obviously things can be in the way, and ships and vehicles can be in the way, and all that sort of jazz, and they need to make sure these areas are sensibly built out as well. Without a greater need or a more fleshed out gameplay system, do you feel that Hunger and Thirst is too aggressive? Yes, I'd rein it back again, personally. Oh, GSUP 7. Thank you so much. Wish it could be more. Appreciate it. So no. Any amount is super helpful. Just turning up and asking questions or just being here, honestly, is amazing. Thank you so much. And people do not need to donate to the channel. It is super appreciated when people subscribe and donate, and like genuinely, because I hate giving money away. I love receiving it, but it's super appreciated. So don't feel like you have to. If you want to, fantastic. We can buy new hardware more often, more easily. We can go to more events. We can have Star Citizen, but better. Zin goes, yay, bonus. But I genuinely thank you for people just being here. It's very much appreciated. How's insurance going to work when the game releases? We don't 100% know yet, because they have not fully fleshed out the mechanic and told us. But they've sort of, the expectation is that lifetime insurance, things like that will cover the base of your ship, the default loadout. You'll be able to cover the default loadout of your ship relatively cheaply, a minimal expense. If you want to cover like any cargo or weapon additions and component additions separately from that, that will raise the insurance cost. And it could actually be relatively expensive when you start to put all these like A-class military components on your Javelin. Well, the insurance might be considerable after that. And we don't know if it allows you, if they just give you a new ship, or if they just pay out. Like, there's various things we don't know yet. Plastic Death! Oh, thank you for the huge donation. Very much appreciated. Hope you had a great holiday. No questions, just money. Stay cool. Oh, you legend. If they stay cool, that like 45 quid, that's going to allow me to run my air conditioning for a few days during summer with the electricity prices. So that is genuinely appreciated. Thank you so much. Plastic Death legend. J-Bird! Member for 37 months. Been a board gamer for a while now. Enjoyed every moment. Hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you so much, J-Bird. I am. I hope you are doing well. Thank you very much for your help and support on the channel. Oh, you legend. Thank you. I appreciate all the love and the money. Both together equals awesome. Jericho Pleskin. Money kisses. Get yourself something nice. And frugal. Yes. My two favourite things. Nice and frugal. I'm going to be trying to get to the Bar Citizen. They're going to have mid-June up in Manchester. That is the plan. It is going to be dependent on whether we can get up there easily and get a hotel. Your summer's like an Australian winter. I know, right? Weird that. What is the first item you are going to drop and leave in a specific spot? Probably Pico or a little whaley boy. Probably. Probably something like that. Oh no. Don't worry about that. Yeah, really looking forward to Persistent Entity streaming. Just for a lot of these sort of tech hurdles, milestone technologies allow for a huge amount more in game, and that sort of needs to be added. If someone is toxic, it isn't white knighty to call that out. No, it's not. And toxicity can be at both ends of the scale as well, from the white knight or the detractor point of view. It's they're sort of separate things that people can just be. Also, I wouldn't call out much as toxic, because sometimes people just interpret things as toxic when they're not. Just because they disagree with them, or because someone was a bit grumpy, or they said it in a bad way, or it's typed on the internet. You know what I mean? There's sort of like, you look at something someone's written, and it might be, this looks like they're being an arsehole, but yeah, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. I answer troll questions all the time. It's just no. Some of the ships are old and overlooked. When will older ships get a pass of modernization to include buttons and interiors like the recent ones? They will at some point. It's different for every ship. The Squadron 42 ships will get those gold passes and updates first. So anything that's needed for Squadron 42. And then it will be based on popularity and gameplay mechanics they're adding to the Persistent Universe. The other ones. Once we have physicalized components in, all ships will get gold standard updates and then won't need much more beyond that. I think that's a fair question. Thank you very much. Cashol? Is that how I say your name? Have you seen the Racing Beacons concept video by Astro Chronicles? No, so I listen to a lot of content creators rather than watch their videos. So a lot of the time I've heard stuff, but not seen it. I will check that out. When are the Connies getting a gold standard rework? I would expect them probably to see one next year. Server meshing will allow for far more areas per system and a wide variety of players in one planetary area. Do you think we may get more tech to facilitate competitive racing soon? Hopefully, because when things like the Grimhex sort of racing area and betting, we're expecting that a while ago. I would like to have some bigger settlements around planets and moons where there would be hover trains transporting mine stuff. Okay, so actually long distance haul and freight and trains and stuff like that as well. Maybe we'll see that on some planets in the future. I like the idea. It makes sense, doesn't it? At what point do you think CIG will implement an attachable jetpack? We talked about that earlier. I've heard something about the rework of the Carrack. There might be some tweaks and some bits coming to the Carrack, but nothing super major. What is more important for Star Citizen, CPU or GPU? So most people will bottleneck at the GPU. There's been lots of improvements to the CPU stuff, but it does depend. Both are important. I've actually gained some... I lost quite a lot of weight over the last 18 months, 2 years. But I've gained a reasonable amount in the last 3 months. Just because I like food and I've been lazy. But I'm sort of stabilizing my diet out and exercise out. I run like an hour a day at the moment. Is the Vulkan tech in the next 3.18 patch? So you're talking about Gen 12 stuff and Vulkan API and rendering. So Vulkan, not in 3.18. And there might be some little minor updates to it. Gen 12, load of updates for Gen 12 stuff should be in 3.18, yes. You can probably expect to see maybe some Vulkan stuff end of the year, beginning of next year, maybe. Yeah, so we should see the pre-recorded ship Q&A later today from Cloud Imperium. With planets like Crusader and ArcCorp being mostly glorified landing zones, why is CIG not focused on fleshing out Stanton's planets before beginning on work on the Nixon Power System? Because it's important for them to get server meshing in and quantum travel, jump point travel in. Then they can keep on fleshing out more missions and more outposts and more gameplay area at the same time. You'll get more and more gameplay on those planets. Do you think we will ever see a living ship like Tyranid style ships? We might see a NID or Xenomorph style race maybe in the future. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility. Is there already talks of a trading overhaul? Yeah, because of part of the cargo refactor in 3.18. So you should see trading change significantly over a few patches after that. So, do you think the Corsair will increase in size to compete with other dedicated explorers? I think it might have got a little bit of a size change, but nothing massive. Do you think we will still get the modularity originally conceived with ships like the Caterpillar? Yes. Yes. Genesis Starliner, don't know, but see how they're thinking with that. But the Caterpillar and the Retaliator and things like that, yes. And lots of other ships with lots of modular components, modular rooms that change a lot of the functionality of a ship. With persistent entity streaming, do you think our ships will still be where we disconnect and crash out from? That is one of the things it should allow for. Do you think there will be some mechanics like rental insurance, so you could end up bankrupt? And must do a 0 to hero. I think there'd be some situations where you could be very low on money or out of money, and you'd have to do like fill vending machines or janitor work or engineering work on like an outpost or a space station. Yeah, in fact, there needs to be stuff like that, or a work on board a ship as a crewman. When do you think we will start to see more use of ArcCorp's planetary servers? I think they are actually working on a lot of that stuff, the interiors of buildings, some updated tech for building and sort of the generation of those planets and those cityscapes. I would expect to start to see a lot more of that stuff next year. Some pledges have physicalized items, models and posters. Thoughts when those will be? I don't know. I don't know when those physicalized items are going to be shipped out. All ships are available to buy until Invictus is over, except Capitals. So, okay, all ships that were previously on sale, so they're typically combat and logistics ships or military ships, will be on sale on the, I believe, 30th and 31st. Yes, or throughout. They're all available for rental at the end as well. They should be available as their manufacturers come on sale. And some ships are limited by hull, like the Constellation Phoenix and those capital ships, typically. So it's all of the wave limited ships that won't be on sale again, unless they're fully sold out. Do you think Star Citizen has enough funding to sustain its expansion? So I do think it makes enough each year. I do think it's something that we need to talk about and that needs to be concerned for, because it's a sizable increase of devs and labour that they want. So that's a bit crazy, the sort of extent they want to expand that up to. Do you think we'll get to fauna soon? So they are working on animals at the moment. They're working on some animals for Squadron 42 at the moment, which will then bleed down into the Persistent Universe. We also know that they're working on like the Pirate Crab and the Microtech Yeti, the Boreal Stalker, and the not xenomorphs, what are they called? Cyphopods. And space cows. Can we dock ships yet? Large ships can dock with stations. We sort of can. The large ships will have the little side dock. When will armistice zones go away? At some point, they will remove them and then have them sort of enforced by laws, security and defences. But we don't know when. I think it's soon. I think it's going to be not in the not too distant future, though. How do you think the servers are going to hold up while the PTU is up for a while? Should be fine, right? Don't know. We'll see. If you and Salty Mike had a game of slapsies, who would win? I would win. I'd win against a man much bigger than me. Like much bigger than me. I'm a monster when it comes to... There's a game I play called Arm Punching Game. None of my big mates will play with me. No. Don't just run up to me and punch my arm. That would be something I'd call the police for. But if... oh my god. What am I... Oh no. I'm probably this big guy when it's at restaurants. And he used to love playing it with me when we were out drinking. And I don't think he ever won. Just a dead arm the next week. Just like, punch each other in the arm as hard as you can. Keep on going. Oh. 1 second. I'll be right back. Hello? Yes, I'm good, thank you. Back, don't worry. Back. So, oh God, what have I done? It's fine, don't worry. So I'm buying my mother a new gas boiler because we need one basically. So my father, who passed away last year, he built the boiler in the house. At the moment, I'm looking after my mother. I live with my mother at the moment, and I want to move out and buy my house. So I sort of want to get the house in order this year and then do that next year. So I want to buy my mum a new gas combi boiler because the current boiler is super inefficient. My dad had actually originally built it, and it's been in the house for like 25 years, this house. So... Oh, we've got... What's going on? So I leave my mother to it. There's a neighbour with a baby outside and it looks like a newborn. You never comment on someone else's baby if they ask you about it. Like, oh, isn't it cute? It's certainly there. You have to go, oh, there's a nice car behind you. Or, you know... Looks like it needs a shit. No, sorry, I've gone off on a mad tangent. But yes, buy my mother a new gas boiler. That was that. That's that for. Donation drive for it. Someone said. Yeah, all donations will go to gas boiler. Give me £3,000. Fucking hell. So that's one of the things I don't like about the whole YouTube donation and sort of Twitch donation stuff. Donations, it's nice to know what they're going for, yeah? So if you go, well, this is to help support the company, it's to support our sort of, we buy hardware with it, it will go to more events and that sort of stuff. It's when people sort of use it to run their lives, I wouldn't do that, because I think it's a bit silly. I think it's a bit cheeky as well. No, anyway, sorry, I've gone off on a massive weird tangent. Yes, thank you very much. Who was going on? What's going on? How? Oh, we're going to end the stream relatively soon, but we'll answer some more questions. We'll answer as many as we can quickly. It got weird. That's certainly a baby. Best advice for 6-year hiatus returnees. Grimhex was new when I last played. Go and check out all the new planets and stuff. Check out the moment Fleet Week. So go to Horizon, Crusader. Crusader is now an actual gas giant with a landing zone, or a floating landing zone. Not a landing zone, if you see what I mean. Go there to have a look at the expo hall. Feel the space stations. Go do a selection of missions. There's a lot to do in Star Citizen now. There's a huge amount of gameplay with like mining and lots of refined gameplay loops and combat and looting and cargo and lots of stuff. And a huge amount of ships to see. I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. What else have we got? Talked about modularity. Yes, I do think there's going to be modularity for all the ships, or lots of the ships. Training overhaul. Bam, bam, bam. Any ideas when we'll be able to eat or drink from the ship's food and water dispensers, be able to prepare food and that sort of stuff? It's coming. It's something obviously after for persistence and probably server. I don't need server meshing for it, but it's nice to have the sort of updated databases to be able to track all that sort of stuff. So at some point after 3.18, seeing as more and more ships are getting toilets, do you think pee and poo-poo? So it'll be hygiene. So use it sort of, this is my expectation anyway. I'm using the toilets and the bathrooms and shower rooms on your ship will sort of reduce your hygiene rating or increase your hygiene rating so that people won't comment on you smelling and they will actually serve you. With 3.17.2, adding new missions and implementing more AI tech, do you think we'll get the Caterpillar boarding missions back? I think they might, hopefully. So the accessibility for the Price of Freedom and those missions, the sort of caterpillar boarding ones, and maybe updating the 890 jump ones and stuff like that. I would expect to see those in 3.17.2, sort of making everything a bit more accessible and fixing the bugs. Now, where can we get a link to the BoredGamer Discord community? Underneath my videos, I can also have a look to see what the actual current. I think it's discord.gg/BoredGamer. BoredGamer UK. I think it's just BoredGamer. Discord.com. Discord.gg/BoredGamer. Is it just /BoredGamer? It is. Bam. That's what you need. Hello, Bored. Have you had any work on modules or those that have fallen by the wayside line now? Modular gameplay will be coming for shits, as we said before. Anything else? What do you think COG will do with the Prowler? Obviously, it can carry more troops, and I think it's going to be more suited for it's going to be quite stealthy for its size. I think it's going to be pretty good on the ground as well, probably. We need to see them in action, and yeah, they need to be balanced appropriately, because obviously the Legionnaire just looks like a fantastic ship at the moment. $100 or so. It's got it's hacky, it's stealthy, it's got good sort of troop size, small. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Is it me, or does the Banner Merchantman not look anything like the concept? So the original concept has evolved a bit. I mean, it still looks very much like it, in my opinion. So it's supposed to be a mall on a ship. Looks like an alien prison instead. So that's only at the moment. It will get more colourful, and it will get look a lot more interesting once they finished it. Do you think they'll ever add anything like black holes? Yes, I think you'll see anomalies and black holes in some systems. What's in store exploration? That is a whole different video. I have not got enough time to answer that fully, but expect exploration to allow you to go and track down new wormholes, anomalies. You can explore planets. You can find new stuff on those planets for missions. It will be slightly related to science. You can just fly off into try and find new asteroid fields, survey for resources. There's a huge amount you're about to do with it. I do appreciate all the love, and thank you so much for all the donations. That is genuinely super appreciated. Oh wow, thank you. So tomorrow's Drake Defense Con. I'm really looking forward to 3.17.2. I'm looking forward to 3.18 as well. Obviously, we'll start testing that relatively soon, because they want to have 3.18 and testing for a long time. Yeah, I think that's probably it for the stream. We will stream again probably on Monday or Tuesday. What we got? What can we go? We will send you over to someone else that's streaming now. Who is online? Who is streaming? I will send you over to Salty Mike, because he's my boy, and I love him. Bam. / right, Salty Mike. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. It is very much appreciated. Go over to Salty Mike on twitch.tv if you want to say hello to him. And thank you very much for watching. Love you guys loads. You take care. Have a great weekend. And hopefully CIG will announce all the bar citizens this weekend as well. And then we can plan to get there or not, based on where they are and when they are. My worry is that they're going to have one mid-June when there's a load of stuff happening in Manchester, so it would be impossible to do the hotel. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Love you loads. You take care. Peace. Where's the bun? Buns?